Look at this dude.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hey man, if you haven't already, then so make sure you are subscribed to the channel, smash the like button, click that bell while you're at it so you can be a part of the Post Noti Gang family. Best family on YouTube. That's no cap, hands down. We are here for another Ray William Johnson video. This Christian singer exposed himself. Like exposed himself, like the type of person he is, or like exposed himself. We're gonna do Let's Talk About React, and let's dive right into this video. Let's go.
So the lead singer of this Christian band tried to unalive his own wife. So the singer's name is Tim, and Tim is 32 during this time, living in California, and the dude is super religious. In fact, he's so religious that he's the lead singer of this popular Christian metal band called As.
How do you mix how do you mix that into rock band, bro? I thought like rock bands and stuff like that, they be talking about some evil stuff, you feel me?
I lay dying. But one day, around 2010, his life starts to change. Because Tim, who has always been fairly thin, decides he wants to get fit. And so he starts working out and lifting a ton and trying to get as swole as possible. But I guess working out isn't quite enough because he starts taking a bunch of roids. And it works. Of course it does. It definitely helps him get...
Oh, so he was getting the roid rage. Okay. them steroids really took over, huh?
Bigger. And pretty quickly he goes from this to this. And he gains about 50 pounds of muscle.
Dang, a complete transformation. I ain't gonna lie, bro. He did a whole switch up, bro. His hair even looks different, bro. Like...
And so the steroids are obviously working and doing exactly what he wants them to do. However, they're also starting to change his personality and his behavior, as such things are known to cause...
I ain't gonna lie, I've taken it one time, or one cycle. So one cycle one time, and that was when I was like... I think I was like 20 years old when I did it. The only reason I stopped because I ended up getting my girlfriend at the time pregnant, which I thought it was gonna do the exact opposite, but I guess it boosted something in me to where she ended up getting pregnant. So I stopped because I was like, I'm not about to spend all this money on this when I need to start saving my money because I got a baby on the way. You feel me? But anyways, I didn't have any roid rage or anything like that. My personality never changed, nothing like that. But don't do it, y'all. I'm not trying to sit here and, you feel me? Don't do it.
Irritability and aggression, aka roid rage. And so Tim is getting a bit of roid rage, and apparently his wife, this woman, Megan with 2 G's, starts to notice these changes in him. I mean, sure, he's buff now, but he's acting like a different person. Like he's super angry all the time. Not only that, but he also spends a lot of time at the gym now. Like an unhealthy amount of time at the gym. Like he's obsessed with it. Plus, he's spending like thousands of dollars on getting new tattoos and getting new cars, and he's not really keeping his focus where she feels like it needs to be, on their 3 kids that they have.
So he just switched up. Like his whole image, personality, everything changed with him, bro. Back in 2010, whatever clicked in his head where he just felt like he needed to change his whole image.
And in addition to the steroids, Tim apparently starts to dabble in other vices associated with rock stardom. Like he's doing much harder drugs like heroin and cocaine. He also is hanging out with a bunch of strippers and smashing with women who are not his wife. So bro is changing a lot. And while Megan is worried about him, I guess he loves his new life. And the only real problem he has is his wife, Megan, with 2 G's. He's just not really...
Why does he have to say it? Why is Ray saying Megan with 2 G's?
...feeling her anymore. So one day, while Tim is on tour with his band, he decides to send Megan an email telling her that he doesn't love her anymore and that he wants to end the relationship. And also, he says that
over an email? Can you imagine being broken up with through email? Oh, that's sickening.
He's no longer a Christian. And Megan is shocked. Like, what? Her husband suddenly doesn't love her anymore? Plus, he's no longer a Christian? He's the lead singer of a Christian metal band. How is that gonna work? And this change in particular is huge because Tim has always been extremely religious. Like, he was literally voted most like Jesus by his classmates back in high school. The dude was like the Ned Flanders of his school, and now he's suddenly not.
I just wonder what happened for him to change up like that. Back in 2010 when he made the initial change, I wonder what happened. Like, something drastic must have happened to where he just felt like he had to change. He wanted to get buffer, taking all these drugs, going to strip clubs, cheating on his wife, getting all the tattoos, changing up everything, bro. I wonder what happened. Something must have happened, bro.
Not? Oh yeah, and just a quick side note, it's not just Tim who's no longer religious. The whole band, As I Lay Dying, stopped believing in any gods. But despite that, for years after this, the band continues to market themselves
because the money, like, they have nothing else that they're known for that. So why did they all of a sudden switch up and not believe in God no more? That's crazy.
As a Christian band, because, you know, it's working, it's selling records, and, you know, you got bills to pay, you gotta make that money. Anyway, his relationship with Megan. Soon after she gets that email from Tim, Megan learns that he's been having a bunch of affairs with multiple women and that he also has a secret girlfriend in Florida. And that is just too much for her. She decides she's done with his bullshit. And in 2012, she goes...
Can't blame her.
And she files for divorce. But see, Tim is still just, like, angry all the time about everything, and just the roid rage. And as the divorce progresses, he starts getting pissed off about how long this whole process is taking, because, you know, divorces take a while. And he starts to blame Megan for it. Like, she's the one being difficult and making it impossible to finalize the divorce. He also blames her for spending all this money on divorce attorneys, and he accuses her of being controlling when it comes to his visitation rights with the kids. So he starts to ask himself, is Megan deliberately making it hard for me to see my own children? And he becomes convinced that she's trying to keep...
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because of how much you've changed, and now you're breaking up with her and this and that and the other. Like, I wouldn't blame her for wanting to be petty about it too, but she's not only just being petty, she just wanting to protect her children. She doesn't know what type of lifestyle you're living anymore, bro. She doesn't want her kids around that, so I don't blame her.
Them from him. And he doesn't want to lose his kids in all this. He'll do anything to protect his relationship with them. And that is when he comes up with an insane plan. He decides to hire a hitman to get rid of Megan, as so many people do in my videos. The problem is, Tim doesn't know any
Ray isn't lying, bro. Like, literally, like, how do you even find a hitman, bro? Like, don't get me wrong, I got goons, you feel me? But not like hitman, you feel me? Like, you can't just go to Facebook Marketplace looking for a hitman.
Hitman, as most people don't. Like, where the hell do you even find a hitman?
Exactly.
So he goes to one of his gym buddies and he asks him, hey, do you know of anyone who would be willing to unalive my wife for money? And I guess that friend is like, nah, bro. But word gets around, and eventually this news gets back to one of the personal trainers at the gym. This guy who...
That's not a good thing that word gets around, bro. You are obviously going to be the first suspect if she was to be unalived, bro. And then you got... Bro.
We'll just call Trainer. And the next time Trainer sees Tim, he's like, don't ask me to kill your wife, please. So of course, Tim is like, oh yeah, for sure. But do you know anyone who would be down to assassinate my wife? Now, Trainer is obviously freaked out by all this. I mean, he's not trying to assassinate anyone.
He's a dummy. Why are you going up to people you don't even, like, know, bro? And you're just like, hey, do you know somebody that's willing to off my wife, bro, for some money? Like, you're going to get caught, bro. Somebody's going to report you.
His wife, nor does he know any wife killers. In fact, he doesn't want to see anyone get murdered. And so he decides to set up a little trap to catch Tim. And the next time Trainer meets with him, he tells him that he actually does know a guy who might be willing to unalive his wife. A hitman named Red. Here's the dildo. Trainer doesn't...
Sounded like Ray said dildo.
actually know a hitman named Red, because there is no hitman named Red. He just made all that up. And so, after talking to Tim, he goes to the county sheriff and he tells them about Tim's assassination plan for Megan and about how he told him he knows a hitman named Red who might be willing to do it. And immediately, the sheriff's department gets to work. They put together like a little sting operation where one of their detectives is going to go undercover and pretend to be Red the Hitman. So then, Tim goes to meet this fake hitman Red, aka undercover detective, and they meet up at this bookstore. And Tim and Red discuss the hit.
Bro, Tim is the dumbest part. Bro, them roids also messed with your brain cells, man.
And they go over the plans, and of course, fake hitman is wearing a wire. And Tim gives him an envelope, and inside this envelope is $1,000 in cash as a down payment, photos of his wife Megan, her address, and, other stuff like that. He also apparently gives fake hitman instructions on how to carry out the job, which doesn't really make sense to me. Like, wouldn't the instructions just be like, murder her without getting caught? Like, aren't you a hitman? Shouldn't you know how to do this? But anyway, yeah. Tim also agrees to pay the guy $20,000 once the hit is done.
Oh man, Tim.
That's a good price. Now, unfortunately, even though Tim is being recorded and all this is pretty damning evidence, fake hitman really needs Tim to use specific words like kill or dead to make this whole thing incriminating enough to bust him. But Tim isn't using those specific words. He keeps dancing around it like, I want her gone. I want her to never ever come back. And stuff like that. And fake hitman will be like, so you want your wife of 8 years gone? But Tim won't elaborate. He'll just be like, yep. But I guess fake hitman does his job and he keeps pressing him on it. And finally, just as they're leaving the place, Tim is like, just to clarify, I want her dead. And the second he says dead, that is all the police who are listening need to hear. And
man, that wife got super lucky, bro. Super lucky. I ain't gonna lie, man. The fact that Tim was stupid enough to go around the gym asking, hey guys, hey, does anybody know a hitman to kill my wife? Like, bro, you dumb, bruh.
So, bam, they arrest him. And I don't have a mugshot, but here's a picture of his inmate ID card. And he eventually pleads
I ain't gonna lie, he looking rough.
Guilty, and he gets sentenced to 6 years in prison. But 2 years later, in 2016, he actually gets out on parole. And he gets out and he gets back together with his band. And they've changed their lineup over the years, and there's like all kinds of drama behind it. But As I Lay Dying still makes music to this day.
Wow.
No, it's no longer Christian metal. I guess it's just like regular metal, but they're still out there doing it. So, good for them.
Well, I'm pretty sure once the word got out that the lead singer of a Christian band was locked up in prison for attempting to set up a hitman to off his wife, I'm pretty sure you can't really come back from that and or just go back to a Christian band, bro. Yeah, that's raps, my boy. But anyways, if you guys made it to the end, I do greatly appreciate it. Smash the like button, leave a comment, click that bell while you're at it, and until next time, I'm gonna see y'all next time. I'm out.